A friend of mine who I know through the internet asked me a question regarding how it says in this week's parasha, B'Lek, for God is not a man that he should deceive, nor a son of man that he should change his mind or change or relent. Son of man is just a Hebrew idiom for human. The term وَيِتْنَحَمْ is from a root word that appears in other places as well. One of them, which was actually his question, is with regard to places such as Genesis chapter 6, where it seems that it's actually teaching the opposite of what we find in this week's Torah portion. That God does in fact seem to repent or relent or change his mind. So in Genesis chapter 6 it says, "And it repented the Lord that he had made man." That's not a word-for-word quotation. I haven't read the verse in a long time. So places such as this in Genesis chapter 6, they must be understood in the way that the term is used according to the context, and as in general in the Hebrew Bible, you look at the basic straightforward verses of the Bible which are teaching clearly fundamentals, and you try to look for the most consistent way, consistent meaning in the way that the Bible uses the term again and again, the most consistent way of understanding it in its different uses, the way which creates the least amount of problems. So, if you are one who doesn't believe that the Bible is just a silly book written by a bunch of stupid old men who want to control the world, then you will not accept that this is a contradiction. But just as in English, the words repent and relent have different uses and meanings, so also in Hebrew. The word in Genesis chapter 6 has to be understood as God himself relates to us in the Torah and elsewhere in the Bible, that when God speaks to man, he's speaking in general in terms that man can understand. As the sages of Israel taught in the Talmudic literature, God speaks in the language of men. So when God says that he repents, it's no different from when he says he is angry. God doesn't have emotions in the sense that humans have emotion, that he's angry, he's sad. External things influence us in this manner, but not with God. So what does it mean that it relented the Lord that he made man, or it repented him? Not that God changed his mind, not that something in the essence of God actually changed, heaven forbid, which is what this week's Torah portion teaches is not the case, that God does not change. Just as it says in Malachi, "For I am the Lord, I do not change, therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed." The same case in this week's parasha with regard to Bil'am, Balak, and the children of Israel. Because God does not change, because he upholds his covenant and his promises, and is above the factors of time and space, he does not change. Therefore, what it means in Genesis chapter 6 is at least one of at least two possibilities. There could be more, but the two that I'm aware of are one, that God there decided that he would change his course of interaction with mankind from that point onward as a result of the wickedness that he observed the people in the world as being at the time. That caused the way that he had to change his course of action, not he himself. The other is a metaphorical understanding of the term, that it repented him, in the old sense, as in the old sense of the English word repent, in which the term repent sometimes meant to hurt or to pain. And the same can be understood with the Hebrew term. So also here, it must be understood metaphorically, God doesn't feel physical pain like we do. He knows what physical pain is. If I get hit, God knows what I'm feeling right now. He doesn't have to become a man in order to know our pain.